everyone, it's Nicole from the Physio Crew, and I want to talk to you a little bit today about understanding your chimp. So if you've been into clinic, you'll know I probably told you a little bit about the chimp paradox, which is a fantastic book written by Professor Peter Stevens, I think it is, and it is, or maybe Stephen Peters, I was getting confused. I think it's Steve Peters. And it's an incredible book that talks all about the different parts of our brain. So if you've ever been struggling to lose weight, if you've ever found it difficult to do exercise, if you've ever found it difficult to get up in the morning, or you get frustrated with your partner and you find that you have conflict at work, you need to listen to or read this book. I never read books anymore. I listen to them. I've got one actually to read because a friend, really sweet, sent me a book, but I haven't started it yet. It's just finding time. But an audiobook is great. You can just put it on in the car, especially if you're doing a long journey, and then you can get a huge amount done, which is great, and you're kind of killing two birds with one stone. So the chimp is the analytic part of our brain. So it's the equivalent of the limbic system. So that's your sex drivers, your food drivers, and your sleep drivers. And it's a very, very powerful part of the brain, very instinctive part of the brain, and we have to try to help manage it. So the concept of the book is that the chimp is very, very strong. You're not able to fight a chimp because obviously it's much stronger than a human. And there's different parts of the brain, the human and the computer, which we have to try and access. So when we are doing things like crossing a road and someone almost hits us, it is our chimp that is the first thing to react. So it's that kind of, get out of my way that you feel. Or maybe perhaps it's the one in the morning when you get up and you think, I don't really want to get out of bed. That's your chimp talking. And once you start looking at your brain objectively, I look at my brain very, very objectively. Why am I thinking like this? Why am I interacting like this? What is my communication? I would say that as a physio, I hope that I have good clinical skills by now. I certainly get people better, so I hope so. But one of the things that I think is the most important thing about being a good physio is being a good communicator and being able to sell. And that might sound a bit weird, but I see my job as a salesperson. I have to sell to someone the concept of prioritizing their health, because a lot of people don't look after themselves, they don't take care of themselves. And to sell to somebody that they've got to commit 5 minutes a day to exercises is one of my biggest challenges. And people always say, why are you spending so much time learning about sales? And I'm like, well, because if I can't help someone change their belief system into believing that they can't do something, that they can do it, and that they can do it safely, and that they're going to be able to make change in their life, and that it's worth doing, then I failed as a physiotherapist. So all of my job is selling, to try and get people to engage with the process, to be able to do the exercises, to make sure that the communication is effective, so that they understand that change can happen, but they have to make the steps to do it. And I do it with healthy lifestyle, I do it with smoking, I do it with weight loss, and really the key is helping people to change that false belief pattern of, oh, I don't have time because I've got children, or I don't deserve it because actually there's people that need more help than me, or I can't afford it at the moment because there's all these other pressures. Whereas in reality, most people can't afford not to do it, because even if you're off work, this chap I saw a couple of weeks ago, he had a neck problem. He still hasn't received his NHS referral, so he would have been off work now for 6 weeks had he not seen me. And he would have, I expect, he would have been very nervous, very anxious. He's actually almost back onto full duties. He'll go back to full duties this week, which is incredible with the type of the problem that he had. But I think it's very, very important that people understand, he's probably invested, I would imagine, £250, something like that. But what he's got in return for that is he's back at work. He hasn't lost his job, because if he'd been off for 6 weeks, there would be questions being asked. Socially, he's got back to normal. He doesn't get pain anymore. I'm still supporting him, because I'm worried that if I discharge him, he could be a chap that actually was quite nervous, and then that could, because people, when they've experienced 9 out of 10 pain, it's common that people are going to get nervous. I would be nervous because I would be worried that it's going to come back. So sometimes the physio is there to do the joint mobilizations, the rotations, the exercises, but sometimes we're there to keep the person understanding that actually just keep going, this is going to be okay, because if you don't have that support, sometimes that can be the thing that then makes it you know, a problem. I did another video on pain and spasm. If you're at work and you think that you're going to injure something, you can tense up. That can make the pain worse, and that can mean that you get more pain, then you go off work, then you get into these problems with your job. So that's really what we're trying to do. So number one thing as a good physio is to make sure that you've got those communication skills. Number two is using those communications to sell the process, to be able to make sure that people put it as their priority, make sure that people say, yes, I'm going to do these exercises every single day, yes, I'm going to invest in my health, because if I'm not well, I can't support my family and I can't look after myself either. Okay, so I hope that's been helpful. Make sure that you're downloading the Chimp Paradox. Absolutely changed my life, changed my practice, and I strongly recommend that if you're injured at the moment, or even if you just want to open your mind a little bit, have a little listen or a read of that book, and let me know how you get on. So please like, comment, share on the video. Make sure you're following us across all the social medias. So we're on Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and then if you like our page, then what will happen is next time I do an educational video, then you'll be notified. Have a lovely day.